Hello world, welcome to my October allotment update. So here is how my plots looks today. We are now in early October, so we have a fig tree here that is not looking very happy. The leaves are browning, maybe because the weather is getting colder. I am getting a couple of nice looking figs though, so I will pick these off later. Then I've got my blackberry bush here. To be honest, I can't really see where it is anymore because I really need to take some of the weeds out of this. So that will be part of my October job. Then I've got the lettuce here. They're still looking quite healthy. I don't think they mind the cold weather too much. Actually, I think it's probably better for them as well because they don't do so well in the heat. So I think they will keep growing quite nicely in the next couple of months. So then let's come back to the front of my allotment plot. We have the mint bed here. I did harvest the pineapple mint a couple weeks ago. The lemon balm is really taking over. This is my garden mint here. It's doing quite nicely. And we have the chocolate mint, which is also thriving. I will probably trim all of these three down to how the pineapple mint looks like at the moment. Then let's take a look at the front of my plot. So I've got 3 courgette plants here. They are not doing so well, and I also don't see any courgettes coming out of them anymore. So my plan is to rip these out. Similar to here, my 6 courgette plants, they are not looking very happy. I'm seeing a very small courgette here, but to be honest, they were here a couple of weeks ago already and they haven't grown any bigger since. So plan is to rip all of these 6 plants out. I do think they are done for the season. Then coming here, we've got the pumpkin plant. I did harvest the last pumpkin a couple weeks ago, so I think this plant is also done. I will be ripping this out. Then over here, I've got a small watermelon plant, and you can see all the leaves have already started dying. So this definitely won't be edible. I will be ripping this one out as well. Then we have a few cucumber plants. The leaves don't look too healthy, and the production of the cucumbers have also slowed down a lot more. We are still getting a couple growing, but honestly the crop is nowhere near as much as what we were getting last month. Then let's go to the other side. We've got one here, a very small one here, but that's pretty much it. This one, as I've mentioned last month, I intended to keep this for seeds. The color has already changed to yellow. I'm not sure if it will change any more than that because I've seen online they can go orange as well. But probably this is mature enough for me to harvest, and I can open it up and take a look at the seeds inside to see if they're healthy to keep for next year. So all of these cucumber plants will be taken off. Then on this side we have more cucumber plants, very similar situation. The leaves don't look very healthy, but I am still getting the occasional cucumbers here. But if we take a look at the lower leaves, they've all turned brown, and I think they are pretty much done this year. Here I've got 2 cayenne pepper plants. I'm so excited because I'm seeing some bright red peppers already. I will be harvesting all of the ones that have already turned red and the ones that are turning red as well. So these you can still harvest. If you keep them in the paper bag in the dark for a couple of days, they will turn bright red like this. So I will be harvesting all of the cayenne peppers and taking them home. Then going back to where my 3 courgette plants were, I do have some beetroot and Swiss chard growing along here, and I've also got carrots growing here as well. The tops are already peeking through. This one specifically is also massive, so I'll probably be pulling all of these out as well. The Swiss chard is a biennial plant, so I could leave them over the winter to continue growing, and next year they'll still be producing leaves. So now let's go to the very front of my plot. This is the pink lemonade blueberry plant, and this is my other standard blueberry plant. The leaves are quite red and yellow at the moment. I'm not quite sure if that's because of the season, if it's getting colder, or because the soil is not acidic enough. Last week I did add some more acidic fertilizer, but it still looks quite red at the moment, so I might do it one more time. But to be honest, it's probably shedding because we are going into autumn. Then on the other side, we have the 10 tomato plants that I planted. So 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. These are bush varieties. Some of the tomatoes have already started changing color, so I will be harvesting the rest of this crop and then ripping out the plants as well. This one also doesn't look very happy. I probably will just take off all the tomatoes that is left. Similar to this one, the leaves are not very happy, but there are still a few tomato plants as well, so I will be taking them off. Then the other tomato plants that I have, there aren't that many fruits left on them, to be honest. Like, I only get the occasional 1 or 2 here, a couple here, another one here, and a couple here as well. These ones are called Purple Russian. They taste really great and really rich in flavor. Even the basil here in between, they will all have to go as well. I did do a video on how to harvest and dry your own basil, so if you haven't watched it yet, please go and check it out. So just want to show you guys what my plot looks like from the front, and before I start clearing up the dying plants. This is taken from the back side of my plot, so I'm gonna go ahead and clear some of the plants out, and I'll show you guys how it looks after. Okay, so just an update. I've harvested everything I possibly could. These are all the cucumbers that were left on the plants, so I've taken them all off. Then I have a couple of figs and also a bunch of cayenne peppers. Then I've taken off all of the basil leaves and all of the tomatoes as well. So it is starting to get dark now. It is sunset. I didn't really have enough time today because I had to come here after work, but I probably will come back in a couple of days to clear all of this out. Then I can show you guys how it looks afterwards. So it's been a few days and I've actually had to take a couple of days to clear out all the plants. So I've cut down all of the mints and I'll be dehydrating them at home to make tea for the winter. Then over here, the beetroots and the carrots, they've all been cleared out. I do have some Swiss chard here, so these are biennial, so I will leave those to overwinter, and then hopefully next year they'll produce even bigger leaves. Over here there are some really small seedlings, so I transplanted some kale and spinach, so hopefully they'll grow over the autumn. If not, I'm not too fussed because the weather's cold and I don't really want to come here in the cold. So if they die, they die. Then all of the cucumber plants that were previously here and here, they have all been cleared out, all been taken off. The courgettes as well, I've taken them away. There are some small radishes here which I probably will harvest in a couple of weeks, but they're still a bit small at the moment. I also bought a pack of garlic from Asda, not really sure what variety. I have broken up all of the cloves and layered them where I want them to be positioned. So I'm going to plant them in about 2 inches deep to let it overwinter. Then hopefully next year, early summer, I will have a whole bunch of garlic. So I'm going to use this tool here and I'm going to punch a hole into the soil and put the garlic in. So just a demo. Then I'm going to plant the pointy side up, so that's where it will sprout. Then just cover it up. Then once I've done all the garlic, I'm going to water everything and let it be. Then the pumpkin and the watermelon plant I've taken off. Over here I've got more radishes, so these ones are white radishes. They're Chinese radishes, so these ones should grow around the size of a carrot, and I can't really see the head yet either, so I think they've still got a bit of time to go. I want to say maybe like a couple more months. Yeah, I don't see a head, so I'll just leave those to grow. Then over here, the basil plants and tomato plants, I've taken them all away. I did try and do a bit of weeding around this area and here as well, but honestly I got a bit tired. I might have to come back another day. I do plan to put in 2 gooseberry plants here, so they match up with the blueberry plants here. So then I can have 4 berry bushes across the front. So that will be another job for me, maybe end of this month or even next month. So that is pretty much the state of my allotment. It's very, very empty. Then over here at the back we have the fig tree again. So the fig tree is looking pretty empty. The brown leaves that we were seeing in the last clip, they've all come off already. So I think that these top ones will also fall off at some point. There are still a few figs poking out. This one here looks like it's almost ready, but the head is still quite green, so I think I'll leave that one. But there are still quite a few small figs poking out. You can see some small ones here as well. But to be honest, this is the first year we planted this, so I don't think that the smaller fruits will grow to full size. Then over here we have the blackberry bush. I did clear out some of the weeds underneath, so it's a bit cleaner. This branch here has gone wild though. Like, look at this. I think I might just leave it for now. Maybe next month I'll give it a small trim, so then next year it can grow nice and healthy. Then over here we have the romaine lettuce. I've taken some of the outer leaves off, but they are still doing quite well. I've also moved the planter that used to be here to over here because this oak tree is shedding quite a lot and a lot of acorns falling off, getting into the planter as well. So just wanted to move it into a clearer spot. Honestly, I don't really know what this bathtub was used for before, and it looks like they've had some sort of bed set up as well. But I was thinking this would be a really good spot to plant another tree. So we have the fig tree here, then the bush, then I was thinking of another tree, maybe somewhere here, and I might just keep going like bush tree, because the idea is that once the tree is quite established and tall, there's going to be quite a lot of ground space not being used. But then I also don't want to plant another tree so close so that in years time when they do get bigger, they might struggle with space. So I'm thinking of maybe another cherry tree here, and then probably a raspberry bush at some point because I love raspberries. So for the cherry tree, I will probably do next month. I think November is a really good time to plant any kind of fruit trees that you want, and they're a lot lighter to carry as well because you'll be buying them bare roots. These two bushes are gonna stay here as they are. I'm sure one day I will probably get rid of these when I run out of space in my allotment, but right now this is the state of my year one, and maybe next month we'll start digging up the next section. I received this plot in May, so it's been half a year and we already managed to get quite a lot done. This massive heap of soil, I don't know if you can see from this angle. Yeah, there we go. So all of this actually came from the front when we were digging it up. So if I come to the front here, this whole section we dug up and we used a rotavator to break up the soil because the soil was really, really hard and clayey. So basically we dug up to this line here, and the rest of the plot is slightly elevated compared to the front section, hence we have so much excess of soil. We don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but probably at some point we will start filling up the back of the plot with soil so we can even up the ground. You can see the previous tenants have had beds set up here, so this is actually one bed. We've taken off the pallet and burnt it like a few months back. There's another one here as well, this bed here. So these two patches are elevated, and also at the back as well, it's very bumpy and not very even. So that's probably what we will use this heap of soil for. And at some point we probably won't need this campfire anymore, or I might move it slightly further back because we're getting good sunlight here and I don't want to waste this spot to grow more nice things. So that's pretty much it for my October update. Do let me know in the comments if you found it helpful or if you have any tips and advice for us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.